Hello, you're watching Global Insight, where we speak to experts from around the world on issues making headlines. I'm Hyun-jung. If you're new to South Korea, you might be surprised by the sheer number of cafes on every street. South Korea ranks third in the world for cafes after the United States and China in terms of market size, despite having a much smaller population of around 52 million. Now, this may not come as a big surprise considering how South Koreans drink 3 times the world's average consumption of coffee, gulping down 353 cups a year, according to Hyundai Economic Research Institute. They're also major fans of desserts, with baked and sugary goods becoming more diverse across the country's cafes. Now, Asia's biggest annual Cafe Expo opened in Seoul this week, and we're going to highlight the latest trends in coffee and desserts. For this, I'm joined by Jungee, manager of marketing at Monthly Coffee magazine, and Hyun-jung, CEO at AIFF. A very warm welcome to you both. Lovely to see you, Jungee, in the studio today. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Hi, and my first question actually goes to you. So you've been organising basically Asia's largest coffee exhibition that opens every year here in Seoul. And for our global viewers who might not be as acquainted as we are with this international cafe show, could you tell us more about it and what kind of trends you expect to see this year?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, I can proudly say Solucafe is the biggest coffee show in Asia. And it has been 21 years, and there are 35 countries, 377 companies,
Wow.
and 3,533 brands have joined in this year.
Right.
And there is a slogan of this year, a cup of the new world, which include Solucafe's motto to make us meet each other by coffee and coffee culture. And as a co-host of Seoul Cafe Show, we hold several coffee events in there. So we host Korea Coffee League and coffee training station and professional coffee seminar. So Korea Coffee Competition, we have 4 competitions there. Korea Barista Championship for espresso, and Korea Team Barista Championship as a real coffee situation, and Master of Cupping for coffee sensory, and Master of Brewing for filter coffee. And we also have coffee training stations, so we try to teach people how to enjoy their coffee. And we also have World Coffee Leaders Forum. We invite people who lead global coffee industry, so we sometimes invite the World Barista Champion. And we talk about sustainability because it's really a big issue in coffee industry. And you can see the coffee trend in Seoul Cafe Show. There are lots of events in there. So I think I should fix the number of the company. It is 677 companies joined in this year.
Sure.
So they have prepared a lot of events for attendees. So there are many seminars and guest barista events, and I think the most of brands think the experience with customer is the most important thing this year. So I think that's why a lot of brands have prepared for seminars.
Right, so it's got something there for everyone, whether you're a casual coffee drinker, a coffee lover, or something of a coffee nerd, and really looking at all those barista competitions. It all sounds very exciting. And but the question on many people's minds, though, might be, why do South Koreans drink so much coffee? We drink 3 times the world's average, according to Hyundai Research Institute. And how did this coffee culture really evolve in the country?
Yeah, to talk about this, I thought it was really long, so I tried to make it short.
Right, thank you for that.
So South Korean had coffee about 130 years ago, when South Korea was called Joseon. So the last king of Joseon, Gojong, got coffee in Russia, and he really liked it, so he brought coffee to South Korea. And after Korean War, the Korean coffee consumption in Korea was increased significantly because Korean people got used to instant coffee from U.S. Army. And at that from then, the instant coffee became a popular drink in South Korea. And between 1970 and 1980, there was a traditional cafe which named Dabang. Dabang had various roles, but generally it was for intellectuals, for talking about politics and the future of Korea.
I see.
And in 1999, Starbucks Korea was launched at Ewha University. And after that, Korean people got used to new coffee culture, such as espresso, latte, and cappuccino. In 2007, there was a famous TV show named Coffee Prince. And because of that, Korean people thought barista as a career. And after that, young generation wanted to become a barista. And people think coffee is a really cool place. In between 2010 and 2012, there was a new coffee culture came out called specialty coffee. So the first specialty coffee generation, such as Fridge Coffee Company and Coffee Libre, they tried to spread out specialty coffee culture to customers. So they put a lot of effort on spreading out specialty coffee because it has really strong character of coffee, and they think it's really original coffee, so people should enjoy this.
Right, I see. And today, it seems that this has really evolved into more of the social media scene, and we're seeing very different, diverse types of coffee places, cafes, even with their own little characteristics. And actually, of course, as you and I were talking before the show, you were saying that coffee always comes with desserts, and we want to talk about desserts as well. And for this, we turn to Hyun-jung for more insights. And Hyun-jung, how have South Korean the South Koreans' appreciation of desserts and baked goods really changed over the last few years?
Yeah, I saw dessert trends have changed drastically in the last few years in South Korea. For instance, when I got back to Seoul from London, which was in 2017, people really didn't get the difference between bread and scones. But now I can definitely say that when I talk to other people, everyone has their strong preference about dessert. For example, like Korean family used to enjoy fruit as desserts at home and bingsu at store, but now it became very international.
I see. And Hyun-jung, we're actually seeing dessert shops become so popular that they're actually packaging these and introducing them in convenience stores like CU, GS25, 7-Eleven. We saw like Knotted, for instance, their collaboration with local company as Hanlib. And well, what are some of the very popular flavors or ingredients that South Koreans love in particular at the moment?
For mass manufacturing of dessert in convenience stores, pastry chefs are researching and studying what Korean people like. And I saw a report that Korean people's taste buds are very honest. They end up liking sweet and nutty taste with a crispy and chewy texture. We say that 겉바속촉, which means crispy out layer with soft center texture.
See, and Jungee, now I want to get to the taste of coffee. I mean, I know what I like, but what do most South Koreans prefer? What do they want to taste in a cup of coffee?
So when I talk about general taste of coffee, I usually like data. So I search social data online, so it's including Twitter, Instagram, and online community. And usually when people drink coffee at cafe, they post a lot of photos of cafe and coffee, and they mentioned, I really like this nutty taste, or I really like because it's sweet. So I would say sweet and nutty are the most popular taste of coffee in South Korea. So, but when you talk about specialty coffee, it would be really different because specialty coffee has really strong characters. So I would say this coffee has like strawberry, citric, and winey, but specialty coffee is only 10% of total coffee market. So I would say nutty and sweet are the popular.
I see. That's definitely the kind of flavors I like. So I guess I'm in the mainstream group there. And well, if you ever invite a South Korean to your house, that's the kind of beans you might want to prepare. Well, turning to you, Hyun-jung, again, what are some of the hottest dessert trends that we've been seeing currently?
In 2022, bagels ended up being super popular. And before that, donuts were popular too. The trends are always changing and picking up on what the next big thing is. Korea is very influenced by trends. So when something is popular on social media, then bakeries have to start following it up to keep it up with the demands of what is popular now.
And Hyun-jung, actually, the variety of desserts, like you said, is becoming more and more diverse beyond the usual kind of fancy French confectionery that we think of, those unpronounceable names. But you actually focus on British baking and desserts. And how is this really making a wave in the local market?
When was much smaller, naturally customers were not familiar with the concept of bread and other confectionaries. Therefore, they took the most famous style, which was French at the time. So when I was started the British bakery in Seoul, I got the question of why I was more interested in British bakery more than French. Which is rather strange because, as I said before, following trends is more the norm in Korea. And I was going against the trend by exploring something new, which is British dessert. As people are becoming more interested about British culture and the British food is also becoming more popular. I see people talking a lot about afternoon tea, scones in particular, and the famous bagel shop in London too.
Right, those are definitely some kind of trends that we've been seeing. And what's interesting is South Koreans have their own little twist. They introduce sort of new ingredients, the scones and the afternoon teas, and all that's really fun and new for a very trend-sensitive nation. And actually, Jungee, before we go, we want to get your recommendations on the best places to have coffee in Seoul.
Actually, I really like this question. So I would recommend two places for really good cafes. So the first is Seongsu. Seongsu is called Coffee Street in Seoul. So if you want really cool place to visit, you should go to Seongsu. And if you want also high quality coffee, it's in Seongsu. But I also recommend Seocheon because Seocheon is really close to Gwanghwamun and Blue House, where the president used to stay. So you can travel and you can see the Korean traditional palace and culture, and you can have good coffee in there. And personally, I really like the one cafe, and I really wanted to recommend this cafe because I think this cafe has really good, this cafe serve really good coffee, and they have great hospitality for a customer. So when you go to this cafe, you are being served really well. So it is named YM Coffee Project. And I really highly recommend you should go to this cafe.
Oh, well, that's coming from a former barista and a coffee magazine expert. So I'll definitely be paying a visit there. And yeah, so if you go to this Seongsu area, that's Eastern Seoul, and Seocheon is in Central Seoul, and great way to get some culture as well as good coffee, right? And turning to you, Hyun-jung, we want to hear some of the dessert trends that you're predicting for the year 2023.
I would say that the popularity of dessert with Korean people are expected to grow. One of the most appealing aspects of dessert is the aesthetic on social media platform. If we look around, we're still like a big ocean to be explored for the dessert industry. So much more could be known in Korea, South Korea, not just British cuisine, but bakeries from all over the world. But I personally would like to introduce toffee pudding, custard, and sourdough bread will be kind of trend in 2023, which I really enjoyed a lot in Britain.
Oh, wow. Well, you've just made my mouth water right there. And well, I definitely hope to see that coming up in 2023. I'm afraid this is where we'll have to wrap up the discussion today, but looks like we might have a very sweet, very highly caffeinated weekend ahead of us. That was Jungee, Manager of Marketing at Monthly Coffee Magazine, and Hyun-jung, CEO at AIFF. Thank you both so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.